Hi, welcome back to the workshop for episode 32 of the Great Guitar Build Off 2022 build. And this time we're going to carry on with working on the neck in the desperate hope that we can get somewhere near finishing this thing before the deadline at the end of the month. Okay, so we got our fretboard made up in the last episode and this is ready for the fret slots to be cut in it now. But before we do that, I just want to get a little job out of the way on the neck itself. Now I've checked this after a couple of days of it being cut out and it's remained perfectly straight, so there's not an issue with that at all. So the next thing I want to do is just get these little ears glued onto the side of the headstock in preparation for getting that cut out. So it's simply a case of breaking out some tight bond and getting these glued on. Okay, so we'll put that to one side. Hopefully that will be dry in time for us to get that headstock shape cut out a little bit later on. Okay, so the next step in this is to actually get this fingerboard slotted. And the way I do these is with one of these fret slotting templates from Crimson. They're absolutely brilliant, really nicely made bits of kit. I've made several guitars with both of the ones I've got and they've always come out perfectly. You never have any issues with intonation or anything like that, so highly recommended. And I'm simply going to fasten the fretboard down with super glue and masking tape onto this. Now you might be able to see at every fret position there's a little line that comes off with a number that tells you what position it is. Now I've checked very carefully and all these lines are exactly the same distance from the edge of this template. So I always use those as a guide to mounting my fretboard. And if you get them positioned fairly accurately on those, you can be fairly sure that your board is positioned parallel to the edge of the template. So all I'll do, let's get some masking tape on there. Same on the back of the fretboard. Just quickly double check to see if there's any particular way I want this to orient onto the guitar. And I actually think I want this end as the nut end, because there's a little bit more going on there, and with the frets being a bit further apart you'll see more of that. So we'll just get some glue on there. And get that into position like that. And then, not wanting to leave anything to chance, I'll just double check that with the vernier. So that's absolutely spot on, so I can be sure that my fret slots are going to be at 90-degree angles to the centre line of this board, which is brilliant. So nothing for it now but to get the fret slotting jig out and get cutting. And for those of you that haven't seen this before, this is my homemade fret slotting jig. There's some metal guides that the saw blade runs in, and I've just checked that internally with a little square and it is absolutely bob on square. And I'll bring you in a little bit closer for a better shot, but there's a little metal pin positioned in here which the little indents on the fret slotting template will locate into, ensuring that I've got an absolutely spot on perfect location for each fret slot. And there we have the fretboard all nicely slotted. I'm probably going to have to deepen these a little, especially when I put the radius on, but at least we've got the markings and something for the saw to follow when we do put those deeper slots in. So with that done and out of the way, we can get it off the template and we can get the neck blank back in and see how that glue up's gone. Okay, so there's the headstock wings glued on. So I'm just going to get this in the vise and smooth these down with a hand plane, and then we can get it to the bandsaw and get the shape cut out. Okay, and that's the wings glued on, and as you can see, they've actually made a really nice join. So very, very happy with that. So next up is we just need to position the headstock template onto my handy veneer centre line. Quickly draw around it. And get that to the bandsaw and get it trimmed down. Okay, and there we have the headstock shape very roughly cut out. So the next step is to get the template mounted on and get this routed to its final shape. But I'm going to leave that till next time. I think with getting the neck to this stage and getting the fretboard done, we've covered plenty of ground for this episode. So I'm going to be back in a couple of days' time when we'll be getting all of that done. Until then, like if you've liked, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.